Good morning, class. Today we'll try to understand the capital structure and try to solve problems related to capital structure. I told you we will do a minor portion of accounting task when we are doing when we are doing the capital structure. Now, as I told you, the sources of funds could either be owners fund or borrowed funds. Owners fund can also be called as equity, and borrowed funds can also be called as debt. Right. Now, when we talk about the capital structure is nothing but a mix of these two. It is a mix between the owner's fund and the borrowed fund. Usually, it is calculated as debt by equity. Suppose it is most generally preferred is 2:1. The debt equity ratio should always be 2:1. Right. Now, when we want to calculate only the debt portion from the entire capital, we can put like debt by total capital. Total capital is nothing but, what is the formula for total capital? What constitutes the total capital? Debt plus equity. Right. Now we will see the problems, but before we look into the problems, please note certain important points which you should never ever forget. First one, interest is always paid on debt only. Debt may we will always pay interest, and equity we always pay dividend. Interest is a P&L account item. P&L account debit side you show it. You show it on the debit side of P&L account. Okay. Dividend is always paid on equity. Now, interest is paid before tax. Yes, when you are before calculating the tax, when you are arriving at the profit, before paying the tax, interest is paid. Dividend is paid after the tax. There is a difference between both. If there is more interest, that simply means that your P&L account debit side is going to go up, thereby your profit will come down. When the profit will come down, tax burden will be less. Right, and it is a vice versa. Again, I repeat, interest, because it is a debit side P&L item, it is paid before the tax, before the payment of tax. When you write interest in the debit side of P&L account, you write to interest, thereby 10,000 rupees or 40,000 rupees, how much ever interest you are paying. The profit will come down because the expense is more. The income side is the credit side. Because you are increasing the expense, the profit is going to come down. Because the profit has come down, the tax burden will be very less. It is a vice versa. If the interest is less, then the deductible expense is also very less. Thereby, the tax burden will not be less, it will go up. That is a ulta. Right. Now we will see the funda of how to calculate, or what are the problems related with, how will we do arithmetic problems related to this. Now, what is the method to calculate the problem? First one, you have to write, in the question will give you profit or earnings. Either of both the words mean one and the same. They will give you earnings or profit before tax. So you have to write the earnings. Then first thing, you have to detect the interest, because interest is to be detectable before paying the tax. As I told you, interest is always paid on debt and it is paid before tax. So now, before calculating pehla interest, you have to minus. I am going to subtract the interest and arrive at a profit. Then this profit, I have not detected tax in this, only interest I have detected. Then I will detect tax. What I get is called as earnings after tax. I will get something called earnings after tax. This earnings per share is nothing but EPS. When I am asked to calculate, always in the question, they will ask you to calculate EPS, earnings per share. The EAT answer divided by number of shares. Number of shares will be given, tax will be given in the question, interest will be given in the question, profit will be given in the question. The simple funda of doing is profit minus interest minus tax, whatever figure you get, divided by number of shares. One thing you have to always remember, in the question all the information is given. Like fools don't detect the tax first. First to profit say interest, after interest subtract tax, then whatever answer you get, with that you do the number of shares. Now we will look at a numerical problem related to method of calculating. This is an example given in the book, but we will solve more sums. Right. Now total funds used in the business, the total capital in the business is 30 lakhs. What is the total capital? The total funds used in the business is 30 lakhs. The interest rate that is available in the interest rate at which the loan is taken is 10%. The tax rate in the market is 30% tax you have to pay. Earnings before interest and tax is nothing but, can also be called as profit. Okay, this can also be called as profit. That is 4 lakh. Now we will see situation 1 first. First we will solve situation 1. In situation 1 there is no debt it seems. If there is no debt there is no interest ना. जब लोन ही नहीं है तो इंटरेस्ट काहे का? Right, now we will see how to solve the problem. Right, first situation is 30 lakhs is given. In the question usually they do not give you number of shares. So you have to assume that each share is 10 rupees. Each share costs 10. 10 is the numeral. Actually 100 chal raha hai, but this book is old and the version is old, so we'll follow 10 only. So what you should do first, you should take the profit. What is the profit that is given? 4 lakh rupees, right? 4 lakh. First you should detect interest. There will not be any interest because there is no loan. Debt ही नहीं लिया है बंदा. There is no loan for him. Thereby the interest will be less. So the same amount, if you subtract 0, 4 lakhs only will come. This is referred to as earnings before tax. पहले interest subtract करना. Interest 0 है तो you get the same figure. Then you go and subtract the tax. Tax is calculated at what percent? 30%. So 30% into 4 lakh will give you 1,20,000. I don't have to say 3 4s are 12. 0 0 cancel karo, you will get 1,20,000. Right. Now you subtract the tax. This is all subtraction here. Tax is also subtracted. Right. You get something called EAT. That is your earnings after tax. Abhi interest nikal diye, tax bhi nikal diye, you get this amount. This is your actual earnings. This belongs to equity shareholders. सबका पेमेंट हो चुका है. You have given the payment to debentures, salaries, everything you have done. So whatever is remaining now, this belongs to equity shareholders. So how they are going to take, ये पूरा amount equity shareholders को देने का है. How you will give, you don't know number of shares. So you assume that it is 10. So thereby 30 lakh divided means if you want to get at the number of equity shares, actually 30 lakh divided by 10, you will get around 3 lakhs. Cancel 0 karo. So the number of shares is rupees 10. This is an assumption. This is not given in the book. So 2,80,000 divided by, what is the formula for EAT that I told you? What earnings per share that I told you? EAT by number of shares. Number of shares we don't know. We are assuming 10. Okay, so thereby 2,80,000 divided by 3 lakhs will give you 0.93 percentage. This is a situation when there is no debt. Debt नहीं है इसलिए हमने interest 0 डाला है. Now coming to situation 2 where the debt is rupees 10 lakh. 10 lakh debt है मतलब in this 30 lakh 20 lakh is equity shareholders and 10 lakh is debt. Now we will solve this problem, right? Now see in this situation students, total fund is 30 lakhs. The interest rate that is given is 10%. The tax rate given is 30%. EBIT, that is your profit. EBIT or your profit is 4 lakh rupees. Same amount only. But debt they have taken 10 lakh rupees. That means in this 10 lakh 10% interest has to be paid. Another thing that you have to remember is total fund means it includes both the own equity and the debt. Right. Now they are saying clearly that debt is 10 lakh. When the debt is 10 lakh, that means equity is 20 lakh. Yes or no? Now we will try to solve this problem. First you should understand that this is 20 lakh. And since the number of shares is not given, you are assuming it to be 10. Right. Now let us look into the problem. How to solve this. In situation 2, again the profit is same. The EBIT, that is the profit is 4 lakh only. Interest is 1 lakh. How 1 lakh? Because 10 lakh is loan. Right. 10 lakhs into 10 by 100. That will give you 1 lakh. Right. So you understood from where you got that 1 lakh? 10 lakh loan hai. So that 1 lakh you subtracted. Then it became 3 lakhs. In this 3 lakhs you have to remove the tax. What is the tax percentage? 30%. So again calculate very easily. 3 lakhs into 30 by 100. 3 3s are 9. You are able to understand from where you got 90,000? Right? So whatever is balance is EAT. Now what is the formula for EPS? EPS is nothing but number of shares. What is the formula for EPS students? Just now I had told you EPS is nothing but EAT by number of shares. EAT you have received as 2,10,000 divided by, how did you get this figure? I had clearly explained to you here that out of the 30 lakhs, if 10 lakhs is loan, 20 lakhs is only equity. EAT is nothing but number of shares. It is not number of debentures, number of shares. So thereby you divide 2 lakh 10,000 divided by 2 lakhs, you get 1.50. Understand children, now the earnings per share is very high when there is debt, because debt increases the expense and brings down the profit. When you pay less profit, when you arrive at lesser profit, you actually pay very less tax. Here you have paid more tax because there was no interest. That is the funda about calculating accounts. Seems like equity shareholders are benefiting when there is debt, but not to a large extent. Now come to situation number 3. In situation number 3, the debt is 20 lakh. In situation number 3, the debt is 20 lakh. Now total fund use is 30 lakh. The total fund is 30 lakh. But here they have mentioned that the debt is 20 lakh. What is the mentioning? They have mentioned that debt is 20 lakh. That means if debt is 20 lakh, equity is only 10 lakh. Right. Now we will assume the same thing. First, what you should do? You should write the profit. Right. Minus first profit minus interest minus tax. Again I am repeating, profit minus interest minus tax. So profit minus interest. What is the interest? 2 lakhs. How did you get this 2 lakhs? 2 lakhs is nothing but 20 lakh into 10%. Interest rate na. Debt is this much. Debt is 20 lakhs in situation 3. So I have divided and I have arrived at the figure that it is 2 lakhs. Now I'll come to earnings before tax. Now what is the tax? Whatever balance amount, this minus this is subtraction. Right, you get 2 lakhs. In 2 lakhs, if you calculate 30% interest, you arrive at 60,000. If you arrive at 60,000, that simply means that when you subtract 2 lakhs is 60,000, because the formula is profit minus interest minus tax. Profit minus interest minus tax. So when I reduce the tax, I arrived at 1,40,000. So this 1,40,000 has to be distributed to equity shareholders. Now the number of equity shareholders are only 10 lakhs. Right, divide, assuming that each share is 10 rupees, I am dividing it by, to arrive at earnings per share, I am dividing the it by number of shares. This is an assumption figure, 10. So I arrive at 1.40. Now tell me, in which category earnings per share is the highest? Amongst the 3 situations that you have, earnings is highest at 1.40. This is the earning, the dividend earning percentage that a person gets as equity shareholders. He get at 1.0 because the number of people who are sharing the profit is less. Even though the profit has come down here, but only 10 lakh people are going to have this. Here 2 lakh 10,000 profit, but 2 lakh people are ready to have it. Here 2 lakh 80,000 profit, but 3 lakh people are willing to consume it. So as and when the number of equity shareholders get increased, the share, the piece of share that they get in the profit is also coming down. So it is always good to have. That is why it is proven that debt equity ratio should always be 2:1. We will solve more sums here. The only funda in solving the sum is first you have to write profit minus interest minus tax. I am repeating, profit, first interest minus karo, फिर tax. When you do this, you will arrive at the conclusion. So you are able to find out that in situation 3 is more profitable for equity shareholders. The earnings per share is, so ultimate aim of doing any kind of financial decision is maximize the wealth of equity shareholders. So equity shareholders' wealth is getting maximized here. Thereby the CFO will decide that out of the given situation, she will go for situation 3. Yukta, who is the CFO for us, will opt for situation 3 because in situation 3, wealth of equity shareholders is getting maximized. Right? Understood? Thank you and have a fantastic day.